Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic the Gathering, and we are jumping right in here. Cephalid Breakfast versus the Pro Tour darling Death Shadow, leading out with a Delver and a Daze on Aether Vial. So a lot of fireworks here early, and Death Shadow already squeezing out that life total, using Watery Grave along with a fetch to get down to 15, trying to bring those Death Shadow online. Underground Sea from Cephalid Breakfast uses Ponder, and the game here is going to be trying to find Cephalid Illusionist along with some type of enabler, either Shuko or Nomads and Core, to find a way to combo here. And there's not going to be a lot of times to make that happen. Force of Will stranded in hand right now. Could have forced that first turn Delver and bought a significant amount of time. Also could have forced over that Aether Vial. We'll see if that Force of Will finds a target or if it's going to end up just stranded in hand, looking for a better target that never comes. Brainstorm almost certainly means these Delvers are about to flip and we will be on a 3-turn clock. And there's Stubborn Denial. Six damage coming in. Luckily, Death Shadow doesn't really have reach, so you do know what you're up against. It's not like Rug Delver, where you have to try and figure out if you're going to be seeing some lightning bolts, or if there's more than meets the eye. Here, it's really just what's on board, and what's on board is very, very powerful here. We've got Watery Graves being chosen freely over Underground Sea. And a Fatal Push, getting that Narcomoeba out of there. No adding extra time. See here, can this be done? There's a Cavern of Souls. So this could go the direction of Cephalid Breakfast here. Let's see what comes off the top. If both pieces are in hand, this could be it. And that is it. That is a passed turn there. It means it's game over. Both pieces not present. And Death Shadow taking down a quick one on the back of Double Delver. Death Shadow really was a breakout of the Pro Tour. It's something I have played on the stream before, but not post Deathrite banning. Losing Deathrite from the format, and Gataxian Probe would have, by all accounts, made Death Shadow a worse deck. That's 8 cards ripped right out of the main deck. Gataxian Probe, a particular important one in that you were losing 2 life off of it and gaining perfect information. But instead, Death Shadow seems to emerge as a serious contender and a very strong deck in this new meta, which we're constantly figuring out. I think, of course, the tech that everybody was talking about post Pro Tour, was that Throne of Geth, which is a Scars of Mirrodin card at 2 mana, and what that does is you can sacrifice to proliferate and add a counter to Chalice of the Void, effectively taking a Chalice at 1, which is a hugely problematic card in the matchup with all of the different Chalice decks, and turning it into a Chalice at 2. And why that is so significant is you really don't have 2-drops to speak of, and the Chalice decks have a ton of potential 2-drops, especially other Chalice at 1. So a brilliant piece of sideboard tech, and Throne of Geth essentially going from a bulk common and uncommon, just the type of thing that, you just sell in bulk to vendors. I probably have 3 million cards here at the house. I'm sure I've got a ton of Throne of Geths in there, and it'll just be a question of when I find the time to go mining, because that is like a $5 card now, and I've got a feeling it is a sideboard card that is here to stay. I think it's a very potent answer to one of the most significant threats to the deck in Chalice of the Void. So always fun to see the best minds in the game kind of take a format to the next level. I'm glad we did get some useful tech and some insight from the Pro Tour and all of the collective experience focusing on Legacy for that event. Watery Grave here again, leading out with Kyle. And this is probably a great matchup in some ways for Death Shadow, given that Cephalid Breakfast can't put any downward pressure on the life total. Death Shadow can have a tough time when you're talking about decks that are really aggressive. You kind of have to find a balance of letting them chip away at your life total versus you chipping away at your life total. You want your Death Shadows to come online, but you certainly don't want to go to 3 life versus burn in too much of a hurry. Aether Vial coming down here. And the combo pieces are now going to be uncounterable. Cycling Street Wraith. Aether Vial doing some serious work in Cephalid Breakfast versus the other Force of Will decks. Reanimate targeting Street Wraith. And a reasonable line here. Nothing overly exciting there. Got a 3/4 for 1 mana. Pretty good. Some level of evasion and Swamp Walk. Cephalid Breakfast does actually run some Underground Seas, so that could become relevant. And another Watery Grave. I'm sorry, a Polluted Delta first, and then Brainstorm. Putting 2 back. And fetching, and he will grab a Watery Grave down to just 7. And there is the namesake of the deck, Death Shadow. Looks like a foil Worldwake version. That's beautiful. Very dark foiling on that. A Tundra is found. Vial is at 2. And it is a Brainstorm instead of a Nomad in core. Looks like very close to lethal here. He's gonna Surgical post Brainstorm. I'll take a shuffle. That's fine. And he's actually gonna Surgical again. Oh, and he's going for lethal. Playing the Water Eater, going down to just 1 life. But it looks like he forgot about the Narcomoeba. And there he is. Narco going to be able to block Death Shadow. So just taking 3 this turn, and now he's down to just 1 life. This is interesting. Now, no reach out of this deck, but a couple of 1/1s could be a huge problem. And of course, a Nomad and Core is in hand, but no Cephalid Illusionist. Daggers. Gurmag Angler coming down. After that, Swords to Plowshares. So the chipping in for that final point of damage, no longer an option. Swords to Plowshares had to be engaged there. There were some other possible lines that could have been used. And it looks like Wasteland actually would have taken care of all of them. I'm talking about playing Nomad and Core and Stoneforge Mystic. Of course, the Stoneforge, not as exciting without the mana to put in Batterskull. Batterskull would be pretty reasonable here. Gonna just have to grab Shuko for now. And blocking the Gurmag Angler. Just chump blocking. And Ponder. Really not much that can show at this point. I don't believe anything will do from here. And it looks like even getting a chump blocker out, that reanimated Street Wraith is actually going to take down that final 3 points of damage. And there we go. Death Shadow showing why it was such a powerhouse on this past Pro Tour. That's all for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please help grow the channel by subscribing. You'll be notified when we upload new videos like Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic with commentary, or Untapped, our raw tournament gameplay. Thanks for watching.